This is the Realty Classroom Podcast, episode number 195. Impatient management is killing your business. Are you a real estate agent who wants to turn your real estate job into a business without sacrificing your lifestyle, but you just can't seem to find the right plan or any plan to help you get there? Well then, hey, you are definitely in the right place. I'm Danny Griffin, the founder of the Realty Classroom and the host of this podcast. Now, to help you take immediate action to get started in the right direction if you're new, or in a better direction if you've been around for a while like me, I've created a free jumpstart course for you that's waiting at freeagentgift.com. Freeagentgift.com. All right, let's get started. Impatient management is killing your business. Now, let me just say this. If this is the first time listening and you are wondering, wow, that's a pretty heavy statement. What about the easy stuff? Well, freeagentgift.com is the framework. But you see, I spend my time every week growing my own book of business, growing my brokerage, which is now in multi-states, and helping a lot of top producers across the United States and a couple in Canada, and now one in Mexico. And as that expands, you look for the common theme that's really stopping somebody from growing a better business, and that's this impatient management. And I can plead guilty for myself because that's exactly what happened to me. I mean, I struggled with that as well. I didn't come out of the womb as a manager. So let me hit these key points here. There's a misperception when you're in this business, or any business, I suppose, that you deserve success because of time spent. I can't tell you how many times as a coach I have heard people say to me that they believe they should be much further along because they've been in the business for a long time now, and they get all frustrated and they quit what they're working on. I've heard that a lot over the years, and I've watched and tracked those people after I knew them or they came in and out of my life, and there's nothing different going on. Nothing. I mean, you might perceive that some of them are successful because they do a lot of deals, but there's no business. I know that if they went away for 3 or 4 months, it's over. There's no more business. It's just this treadmill that they're running on, that they're chasing, and they're after it. And they get all flustered and frustrated. And so they snap back to an even uglier version. This unmanaged, tactical sales machine. I love the word sales machine, but as long as there's a strategy running it and there are multiple people running within it and that the systems are running the whole thing, sure, I like that. But if I just look and I see a group or a team and they're just all running around like crazy and everybody's frustrated because, my gosh, we've been around so long, we deserve better than this. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't deserve anything because you've been in it a long time. And I'll tell a lot of you veteran agents, if you listen to me, it's the most dangerous mindset you can have because there are younger people coming into the business and they are learning strategies. They are following formulas. They are more curious about building a business, not just doing the job. And they will surpass you easily. And you'll get all flustered and frustrated and say they were lucky and whatever. You'll get mad and you'll go off on that, right? And I'm just telling you, time spent has nothing to do with whether or not you'll be successful. Now, time spent is a great teacher. If you're learning and adjusting, sure, you have a definite advantage. But you have to be open-minded towards what you're not doing. And one of the things is becoming a manager. I know that for sure. Right there on the shelf behind me, I don't know if you can see it, but behind me is Michael Gerber's book, The E-Myth, where I saw these 3 personas for the first time. When my mentor introduced me to the book, I could see 3 different personas. One was the entrepreneur. Well, I knew I was that. I'm unemployable. I wanted to work for myself. I had a vision for a business that I wanted to build, and I knew I could sell, which is the technical work of the whole thing. So I got there, and there's just a huge gaping hole in the middle called manager. It's a gaping hole. And even though at one point in my life, I had spent a lot of time in learning about business management, learning about companies that had good management systems and good managers in place, it was just lost on me because I had no patience for it. But I also make an argument. I really didn't know how to manage. So I learned that over time. But let me hit, before I get into that a little bit, I want to hit a second point, another misperception. So we have these 2 misperceptions. These were ones that I had, and a lot of my clients have, all my clients have, and you probably have. So I'm hoping that I am you here, always. So the misperception that once you discover a better way right? Once you discover a better way, that you believe that change comes quickly. So one, it's as I read this back to myself, I see this impatience with time. So one, we're frustrated with time because we put it in and nothing's really that much better. And there's certainly no business, but we're still doing it. We're surviving. Thermostatic like business. We seem to always be able to survive. In some years, we got a little extra bonus, right? And then the second one about time was that you learned these new things. You might learn something from me. For example, you might learn strategy. You might go get freeagentgift.com. You might download the strategy and make it work for you. And I heard a new concept today, time to value. I believe that if you just go watch and listen to me on freeagentgift.com, there will be some time to value if you implement what I tell you or you tighten up your current business. You'll see some improvement quickly. 30 days, 60 days, for sure, if you live by that. But just because you'd learn that, the point would be is it's not going to change that quickly unless you really embrace concepts that work, systems that work, and really understand them. So, and I have some clients in that mode now. They're learning these new systems. They're implementing them. And oh my gosh, they're so frustrated so easily. And then they beat themselves up and they just sound despondent. I mean, really, they sound really despondent very quickly. And I don't get it. I don't get it, because what's the alternative? Okay, so it didn't happen quickly. It doesn't mean it didn't work. If you see any kind of a system out there in business working, you have to ask yourself, sure, how much time did that person put in? How much understanding? And how much perseverance did they have? I think one of the greatest stories, if you can find it, go Google it. Elon Musk talking about living in the factory for 3 years, I think 2017, 18, and 19. He lived in the Tesla factory. He lived in it. And at one point in time, he slept on the factory floor. See, I love that imagery because I've always been a Henry Ford fan, and that helps me have the imagination to be looking down at the way my business runs left to right like an assembly line. And here's Musk talking about the same thing. He learned more about the assembly line. He thinks now he probably is the person, the one singular person on earth that knows more about an assembly line to put together at least an electrical vehicle than anybody else. That's what he says. And it was just so impactful to me. So just because he was learning a better way, it didn't mean that the success came quickly. And he just stuck with it. Think about it. 3 years. Would you sleep in a factory for 3 years to become great at something? I mean, and again, use it metaphorically. Would you feel like you would spend that much time watching how your business works and being patient and making adjustments? He talks about being on the verge of bankruptcy, constantly being uncomfortable. He calls it the most painful time in his life. Powerful. So just because you see and learn these better ways doesn't mean it comes to you quickly. There is a price to be paid for success. You don't know somebody. I just learned about somebody today that I've been following online, and I keep when I see somebody that's smart, I don't fall for the sort of the shirts hanging out and whatever their persona appears to be. I can hear the words coming out of their mind. And I can hear the intelligence and the well-readness and articulation. They're really smart. And so I listened to this thing and I found out some impressive things academically about this person and who this person was. So, and I knew how long they had gone to become what we now perceive as wildly successful, the dues that they had paid and the patience they had to manage that change. Just because they knew better, it took time and failure to overcome. All right, so let me get into this a little bit further. Let's just recognize this so that we go beyond these misperceptions, that nobody was really born with an innate ability to manage it all, and especially all yourself. I've come to realize that, think about it. What is an MBA? It's a master's in business administration. And you hear about these schools of management. The Yale School of Management gives an MBA. One of my sons is going to a school of management as well. So you go and you learn the skill. You go and you study this skill and you figure it out. I think that innately, perhaps we have some ability to manage our survival, that there are some survival instincts, but we're not born with a system that We come out of the womb, and as long as we're conscious and able to live on our own, that we all of a sudden are perfect managers of our lives and our survival. So it's not just this thing that you look at somebody and say, oh, they were born to manage. What? What? No, that's a dismissal. And what it is a demonstration of your own laziness, your lack of perseverance, resilience, and desire to do it. I'm guilty. I'm not being accusatory here without saying I'm guilty of this. I am guilty of all of this. I can't believe how many years went by, and I knew better. I knew a lot about management. I had studied it, and I was out there seeking people who had done that. That's why I found my mentor. Then I realized who he learned from, and then I realized who he learned from. And you realize, oh, this is a body of work. Management is a body of work. It's something that you study. Then you have to apply it to your business. So like I said, all these books behind me, you can read all these great books about small business management and marketing management and plans. It just doesn't come quickly because now you have to put it together for your business. And there are not really any or many places you can just go and easily copy. Why do you think franchises are so popular? Because they theoretically have a really good management system in place. And that speaks to the McDonald brothers and why Gerber in his book refers to them, because it is a really good example of a franchise prototype that then became something that did get duplicated, and it became extremely valuable because it was something you could pick up and put anywhere and it would work. Not without pain, though. Go watch The Founder, a great movie about Ray Kroc and when he met the McDonald's brothers and how obsessive compulsive they were. They were sort of like the Elon Musk, the persona that sat on the assembly line and really rearranged things over and over and over. It's an incredible story about how to learn how to manage through systems. And that's the ultimate. That's the real thing that I came to understand is I must wake up and obsess about my systems every day. And then today something hit me. I have to make the systems that are currently running everything even more simple so that the people, especially me too, the people that get on that assembly line or that management system and they begin to work it, it's easier for them. And you want it easier for the people that are managing the system because that's more efficient, that's more productive, and especially in a service business like real estate, it allows for more time with the human that you're serving. So the irony is the productization of the way that we serve, meaning with that system, we can productize it. It's a very duplicatable, repeatable process, and then we're able to get to the highest level that is really human-to-human stuff. So all that's packed into management, and you're going to be impatient with it? You have to engage in it. And again, I'm talking about somebody that does 3 homes a year. I know we've got this weird thing in our industry. We like to hide the average number of sales and explain away the people who pay for a license and sell nothing rather than just look at the whole reality. The reality is agents sell about 3 houses a year. It's largely a part-time business. It's largely a hobby for a lot of people. That's why it has a lot of black eyes out there in the public opinion, because there's just not enough systemization to even the part-timer. And we need to get better at that. We need to make this business better. So understand, even if you're doing it part-time, stop doing it as a hobby and learn how to manage and do a better job with those 3 deals a year so those people are served very well, because they're the ones that make the world go round, the customer, right? Now, I'll just finish by saying this. If you don't work hard to become a patient manager, you'll certainly kill your business. And then what? And what I mean by, and then what? Where does that leave you? Where will you be when you kill your business? And when I say kill it, of course, in real estate, you can restart, okay? So all of a sudden, you haven't sold anything in a year, and you had been every year before then. Well, you just have to look at what happened that year. You probably just bailed out completely. You put no energy into it. But I think that's why you end up killing it. Let me explain that. Most real estate agents run their business, and they don't really know it's a business, but they run their business on muscle. And you can't run a business on muscle, and you certainly can't build a business on muscle. And what I mean by muscle is energy, interest, emotion. Those things only carry the day so far. This month, we get up and do our incantations. Not that I'm knocking those, but we get up and do our incantations. I'm going to sell a house. I'm going to sell a house. I'm going to sell a house. And we go out with all that energy, and the universe parts the Red Sea till we find the seller, we find the buyer, and we do the deal. And I do it. And then all of a sudden we get sick. And then all of a sudden we don't feel good about life, or something outside goes wrong and interferes with what's happening in our life. And all the energy, boom, the Red Sea closes up again and there's no more business. That's what I mean by doing this on energy. You need to be able to build something with systems in it that can sustain the pressures of real life. That when the tide rolls in against you, instead of just collapsing, the business falling apart, it thrives and survives. So if you don't do this, if you don't become a patient manager to put some systems in place, and like I said, even if you're only going to do a couple deals a year, it's still critical that you become a patient manager of how you do those deals. Because otherwise, you're the one that's killing the business. Stop doing that. All right, let me go back and summarize this. It's an interesting subject. I'm kind of opening Pandora's box here, because the majority of what I do at our high-level coaching, one-on-one consulting, is this. I'm trying to teach them what I had to learn, which was I had zero patience for building systems. I knew that they mattered well before I got into real estate, but I really had to learn this. So let me just say the subject here today is impatient management is killing your business. Right? And if you're brand new to the business, it could kill your business if you're impatient. So the key points were here. Number one, there's a misperception in our heads that we deserve success because of time spent. If I spend a month, 2 months, 6 years, 12 years, I deserve success. You do not. Point number two, the misperception that once you discover a better way, I found the formula, that change will come quickly. It will not. You might be able to expedite it, but it just doesn't come quickly because you learned a better way. It takes the patient implementation. 3, nobody seems to have been born with this innate ability to manage and manage it all yourself. So you have to learn that skill, put systems in place, and get other people to help you run it and grow it. And lastly, number 4, if you don't become a patient manager, you will certainly kill your business. And then what? Where does that leave you? You have to start all over again, and that stinks. All right, let me summarize it this way, okay? This is all about that impatient manager. You ready? Real estate agency / agent business is a business for both the individual agent and the agent themselves. You have to remember that, okay? So if you're an individual agent, when you hear me say agency, I'm talking to you just as much as I'm talking to the business owner that has multiple agents. Therefore, like any business, it must be managed. That's how businesses become successful. However, management is not necessarily an innate trait, rather a learned skill set. Successful managers know that positive change does not come through simply putting in the hours, nor does it come quickly. They also know that they must build themselves a persevering personality, or they'll become the killer of the business itself. All right, heavy topic, I know. Remember, you can take immediate action and get started in the right direction or better direction to become a manager. Because I give you a free, simple business plan that's waiting at freeagentgift.com. That simple business plan is a strategic wireframe that helps me stay in a manager's mindset. Why wouldn't it help you? And it's working for me. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you listen. We also post our content on YouTube. So don't forget to subscribe to the Realty Classroom channel. Turn on those notifications, and we post weekly, so you'll know when it's up there. We'd also appreciate if you would share our content with other real estate agents trying to figure this all out so that they get the help that they need. Remember this, though. I sign off the same way every week on all my podcasts. Nobody is coming for you. Absolutely nobody. So go get to work on your own business, and we'll see you in the next episode. Hopefully help you do that. Okay? See you then.